The button. There it is. Got
Oh.
it.
Tonight. How do I get out of this chicken shit outfit? We talk about 1986's Aliens.
Wait,
Where were you at when this movie came out? I seem to recall this movie playing in the movie theater for like 3 years because I saw it when I was the kid for sure. But that would mean my brother was like 13, 14 at the most. And would he have been able to get into Aliens? Joe, did you see this in the theater?
I did not see this in the theater. At that point in my life, I was not a sci-fi guy, and we only had the basic cable subscription. So, no, Aliens was not something I was exposed to until well into my teens. H.R. Geiger.
I feel like
H.R. Geiger was my introduction to Aliens. The art. I actually came across it through the art influence. I had a way more distinct interest in the art aspect of what he did with Aliens that put it on my radar. I think this might even, this was that brief period after grade school when Ben and I were not in regular contact. So between grade school and freshman year, that would be right.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was about when I came across it.
You guys want to know
Interesting.
where I was?
Nope. I want to say I definitely now that I'm thinking about it, I remember I definitely watched it when it came out on VHS, and I must have seen it at
For
least
sure.
twice on replays in the movies. I've definitely been once in my adult life, and I think I went once in my teens to like a midnight showing where they were
I
showing
didn't think
Aliens.
you were talking replays. I've seen it
No,
in a theater.
No, at first I wasn't, but I'm reflecting as you're talking, and I'm thinking my first actual exposure to this was my brother, who did go and see it and said the phrase, or no, he was talking about the original. That's right. When he said, I've seen more cotton on the top of an aspirin bottle,
Right.
when he was talking about her in her hypersleep gear.
Yeah.
And I thought, I've got to see this movie. All right, Russ, what were you doing in 1986? June 18th, 1986. July 18th.
July. I was 14 days away from being born. Fuck you guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
He was standing on his mom's bladder.
Even at that time, I knew I was going to grow up to spend too much time with someone I hate named Ben Hansen.
Son of a bitch. All right, give me, I'm sure just age range. I know the answer, but tell me, Russ, how does this movie compete with Starship Troopers?
Good question.
Ooh. So I picked this movie. And I picked it.
I mean, right out of the gate, I'm going to say there's no boobies. So
There's
Starship Troopers win.
It's so funny because when I thought of that question in my head, I'm like, number one, shower scene missing.
Yeah.
Awful, just awful
Joe.
people we are.
Aliens loses.
How does this movie stand up to it? Right to it? I mean, for me, there's a bit. Some about Starship Troopers. Just for me personally, I don't think that makes it a better movie. I think in the Warhammer universe, Starship Troopers is to Warhammer what this movie is to Kill Team. This movie is about squad combat. Starship Troopers is about a whole battalion.
All right, that's fair.
Right.
All right, that's fair.
The movie,
That's a solid analysis.
Cameron's treatment of what he wanted to do when he heard he was going to have the opportunity to direct the sequel to Alien, which he was very interested in doing. He did borrow heavily from the novel of Starship Troopers, which was years away from getting made into an actual movie. But definitely a lot of influences from the novel in there.
Being made into a movie.
Joe, do you think anything was taken from Armor, or is it mainly just from Troopers?
Oh man, I mean, John Steakley's book, I don't know that I could recall it ever actually being referenced in any movie of trivia. Unfortunately, it was one of only two products that he put on the market. It's an amazing novel. I have read it multiple times, still own the hardback, have bought it multiple. I read the cover off of that book. I've loaned it out I've probably bought that book a dozen times. Armor is a fantastic book.
I look for it now when I go into bookstores. When I go into small bookstores, I'm like, all right, let's check it out.
I mean, Russ, you can get it on Audible. I've listened to it. I'd highly recommend it. It is what Starship Troopers should have been. It's what Alien should have been. I mean, it's honestly probably the best cross between the two that we're talking about. Incredible novel. Harnesses all of the horror of alien species and interplanetary war, ignorance and hubris of the humanity on top of the galactic battlefield. Yeah, I love it. No, I don't think this movie pulled anything from Armor.
Well, that's a shame because based on that book review, I think it really could have deserved it.
It could have benefited.
Definitely. Maybe some more armor. That being said, give me what your rating is for this, but don't grade it. No, I'm just kidding. Do both.
Man. So I got 2 for this because
but there's only one.
Well, no, I feel like there's 2 because when I saw it, sci-fi as a respected genre was still suffering. The original of this series did a lot for sci-fi as a genre in general. This got bandied about for almost a decade, 7 years, I think it was, from the original to this one. This one did fantastic on the delivery. It made Best Picture nominations. It was highly visible. I want to say it was the highest grossing film, like just period, not sci-fi film, but the highest grossing film of 86. This movie's like a cornerstone of sci-fi. That being said, the first couple times I seen it, probably a B minus. Thought some of it was a little over the top. Some of it was things we hadn't seen before. But I was also more into it for the art, the aliens part of it. And that part wasn't shown big in the overall movie. Now, being an amateur movie critic, I'd give it an A minus, adjusting for time and relevance and the impact that it's had on the industry and especially for sci-fi in general. I'd definitely say A minus.
Hey, just fact checking Joe real quick. Fact checking the facts with the fact checker.
Do it. It's all based on 5 minutes of Wikipedia research.
We recently did 1986. It was Top Gun, followed by Crocodile Dundee. You idiot.
Right.
Hey, there it is.
Idiot.
Hey, fact check.
God,
live.
Can't you remember every episode and everything we say?
It's like a Facebook post. I don't know. Fucking random fact checker shutting me down.
It's true.
I don't even know about it. Russ, what do you give this movie?
Because of Joe, I feel like there are also 2 parts to it. For me personally, B plus. I don't even have to go into all the details. I mean, Joe pretty much said it. I do really like the humans hunting aliens kind of scenario. But what this movie means...
Is that a political statement, or are you talking about the movie still?
Hey, I would never.
Let's talk about
Wait
the
to
wall.
see this movie.
Let's talk about the wall.
I thought this movie was going to be completely different.
I thought they were... No, never mind. I'm not gonna.
Yep.
I think what this movie is just done for science fiction and everything. I mean, the franchise, really. It's more the franchise has done as a whole. I would move it into that A category just because of what it means to film in general.
So you're officially moving it into the A?
It deserves an A for like what it's meant to me as an individual. It's a B plus.
He's just flirting with the A. He's not ready to
Just
commit to the
flirting with the A.
A.
You're like, I'll get the A or I'll get the B, but either
It's
way, it's
just-
happening the same way.
I'm
love
gonna
it.
Just teasing the A.
I'm gonna stick with a B plus and see what our average ends up being.
Dude, you'll have way more success.
Well, it's
if
gonna
you
go
stick
up.
the A. You got to just stick the A.
Well, I tell you what, we're not just going A. We're going A plus on this one.
Oh,
This is
shit. Ben's
Aliens,
coming out of
baby.
the gate.
This is Aliens. This movie taught me, dude, Bill Paxton's character as the comic relief, but still a soldier. Vasquez as the strong woman. And dude, teamed up with Ripley.
Dude,
Like,
yeah.
oh,
Vasquez
chicks can
was
kick
like
ass.
early Michelle Rodriguez.
Ripley is one of the first in my life, like, I can kick your ass women roles. This movie is flawless to me. I always try and watch the special edition. It's got 17 minutes of extra footage. All of it adds to the story. None of it takes away. It was only cut down for time.
All of it makes. Well, hold on. I'm not going to interrupt. Keep going. Wait.
No. Wait, interrupt. What do you got to say? 17 minutes.
The extended version, I felt, helped make way more sense of the attachment with Newt.
Yes.
Like,
100%.
The biggest disconnect for me watching the theatrical version is wait, you're going to do what? You guys are up against all this shit that you already lived for, slept for 50 fucking years, and now you're going to risk it all for this kid that you don't fucking
57.
know. With
57.
no backstory about your fucking kid.
Right. Yeah. 66 when she died.
Yeah.
And you got to learn that. Yeah. No, it enhances the Ripley story for Newt a lot. And the cool ass, the aliens trying out the different ways to get into where they're at. And they've got the sentry guns.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
How do you cut
Come
sentry
on.
guns out? It's a sci-fi flick.
Did I remember the first time I saw it on cable and they played the extended version? And I was like, "What's this?"
Yeah, right.
When they show the whole marine area before they wake up and it's showing all their armory, it's like, wait, this wasn't in the movie, dude. So much good shit. I always try and watch it. They're the Queen Alien. Come on.
I have to agree. Ben would. On the extended version, so I'm gonna add a 3rd grade on the extended version, A plus.
Dude, it's A plus.
I'm fucking up Russell's fucking average grading all over the place. You got to factor
I was
me in 3
gonna-
times, baby. Count me 3 times.
As Ben was talking, I was gonna come up to an A minus. I can't do A plus. I can't do A plus. And the main
what
reason,
takes away from the plus?
The main reason for me that it can't be an A plus is I think
Is it when Bishop gets ripped in fucking half and there's white shit everywhere and she comes out and says, "Get away from her, you bitch." This movie's an A plus.
No, I mean
erroneous. Erroneous on both counts.
This movie's incredible, but I just honestly I think Alien is the better movie.
Oh my God, are you fucking serious? Have you lost your mind? Dude,
there's no way.
The dichotomy. The dichotomy between Ripley's character, Sigourney Weaver, in number 1 and number 2 is something I've had the biggest struggle with in this series. And there's lots of things we can discuss about with the series. Like, I mean, Aliens 3 opened a whole new can of worms for the franchise, but
not great.
Dude, in number 1, she is such a scared, running away.
Well, think about it.
I get it.
I mean,
but to wake up and to have this level of resolve, like, no, dude, the trauma that she suffered in the first movie, when they're
coupled
in the
with
friggin'
57 years of
hypersleep, and then
hey,
now you're reinstated, and hey, let's
anymore.
go back to your exact friggin' nightmare. And you get to watch all of these people relive what you so like a remote. Like, I mean, it's like a remote experience of what you went through, and you're going to be the fucking man that mans up. You ain't, I mean,
well, all right. Think about this. Think
no.
about the trauma from that, right? And you've seen what this thing can do. She's already thought of what happens if these things multiply. Are you just going to sit on a planet while you watch the news while this fucking plague just starts coming over you because you can't stop sending people to try and do something with it?
Wait.
No, she's like, all right, I'm going to get out there and be the mankind's last best hope of not having their head up their ass to deal with these things.
Nah, fuck
And
all that, dude.
unfortunately,
It's
Bert comes along.
a 7-man
fucking
squad.
Paul Reiser.
No, it's a fucking 7-man squad. And they have the option of retreating to space and dropping a nuke. Your squad's gone. Let's go.
Well, they do. They try.
No. They went and
the
rescued
squad
the
gets
squad.
wiped
They went
pretty
and
quick.
rescued the squad, and then somebody proposed that option. If I was Ripley,
No, the squad
and I'd have
gets
been there
wiped
standing there,
really
I'd have been
fast.
like, nope, cool. They're gone. Let's go. No, I don't care if you got live feeds. Nope, we're out. We're out. Let's go. Bye. Instead of grabbing the controls of the car and driving deeper into this alien infestation, I'd have been at the controls of the spaceship going, all right, I don't give a fuck. I'm leaving y'all. I'm leaving you. I'm leaving you. I'm leaving you.
She had to get more bodies, dude. If it was just the lieutenant and Paul Reiser, they're going to overpower her and completely not want to go along with the nuke. She really needed the extra. She needed Michael Biehn. Who doesn't? I mean, he saved John Connor.
Right. The alternate source of protein.
He saved John. Yeah. He's John Connor's dad.
It's a great role for him. There's a lot of trivia that tied this movie into the same time frame that Terminator was getting created. And I actually really enjoy him in both roles. I think he fits the role in this movie really well.
I gotta back you up on that, because one of the reasons I put Alien, the first one, above this one is because aside from him and Sigourney Weaver, I think all the other characters are too cheesy, too over the top.
What?
Come
Apone?
on, don't you lie to me.
I love Apone, dude. Look into my eye. As their fucking sergeant.
All right, you heard him. You know what to do.
Dude,
that's right. Assholes and elbows.
Assholes and elbows.
He's like, even though he is over the top, he's one of the least.
He's actually a veteran.
Yeah, he's kind of normal.
Dude, he was the first black sergeant in the field in Vietnam.
Boom.
That dude. Is he really?
Boom,
that
dude. Russell, your patriot senses should be tingling.
I mean, that's
right. There's a great little story. Great little story about the guy who played Frost, who was called that because he had a flamethrower, and it was ironic. Haha. He wanted to be in Full Metal Jacket that was filming nearby at the same time, and he got permission from Cameron to only miss the first week, and then he could be in both. But then Francis Ford Coppola was like, I don't think I can release him. So he just did Aliens. When Aliens was released, Full Metal Jacket was still being filmed.
Oof.
Yeah, right?
Oh.
Talk about not knowing when to let go. But Full Metal Jacket is kind of a brilliant masterpiece of its own.
I don't know how we haven't done that one yet.
Yeah.
Well, it's because there's a lot of really harsh racism in it, I would think. But
among other things.
You don't need to. We should do other movies first. But hear me out. When's the last time you guys saw Alien, by the way?
It's been a hot minute. I'll admit it's been a hot minute. Like it's probably been a decade since I've seen Alien. This made me want to watch it again.
Every couple of years.
This made me want to watch it.
I have the first 3 or 4 on DVD, like a special edition that had come out once upon a time. Got
this
special
movie,
features, a second disc.
The Alien box set. John has it too.
No, it's not the box set. They're all individual. But anyway, move on.
Ben's a true collector.
Like for me, I feel like this
fucking
movie
box set bitches
strayed very differently from what the kind of groundwork that Alien kind of set the expectation for. Like that was a traditional horror movie, and I think
Facts. It executed well on what it was designed to be.
I think the Alien
Ridley
is
Scott.
one of the scariest movies of all time. Like
The
it
first one?
is- Yeah, so fucking
You
scary.
crazy.
I mean, it's up there. It's up there.
You think so?
I think it's up there. I think
When I
what
was
the
a
other one?
kid, the first time I watched
2001?
it, yeah.
That's another one that, that space horror. Space horror was so young, dude. It was such a virgin territory when these movies were made. Aliens were I mean, so controversial at the time. It wasn't something, people were scared of, but wasn't a thing. And nobody really, I would argue that the original Alien is probably the first time that Hollywood put a believable alien on screen.
What? The Day the Earth Stood Still, fool, won the Academy Award for Best Special Effects.
I don't give a fuck. I think this was the first one that the people believed it.
What about?
I don't care what Hollywood said.
I mean, the first War of the Worlds.
No, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not
It's
the
not the
same
same.
as it's
Definitely
not the
not.
I
same
hear
as
what
this
you're saying. They all
alien
kinda sucked, but
gestating
this one,
inside
like-
of you. Like the
You
science all
definitely
made
did
sense.
not
Like,
forget this one.
it bridged the gap of what our biological understanding was of the world and what ultimately our fear is. This parasite uses you as a host to propagate its species. I mean, that's horrifying.
It is horrifying, and the effects on this movie really stand the test of time. That's like,
yes, they do.
Agreed.
Easily.
Shout out to not using CGI because it's always going to date you.
Dude,
Like,
H.R. Geiger
admit
brought a level of obsession to the aliens in this movie that hasn't been seen before or since.
Did you know?
Now, hang on a second. Hang on a second. Geiger technically was only involved in the creature development in the first one. Cameron kind of went off of that, but didn't exactly use Geiger. Geiger was not consulted with for this one to make the Queen, to make the soldiers, none of that.
Yeah, but the basis was all him. I mean, what Cameron worked with wouldn't have existed without his work in the first one.
Did you guys?
But Cameron definitely worked a lot more off of the film than the
artwork, and that's fair.
Stuff.
Yeah, and that's fair. But I think H.R. Geiger's vision has crafted the arc of this series.
Did you guys know that?
Geiger.
Did you guys know that during the filming of the first movie, he wanted the person in the alien suit to kind of have a good sense of being an alien, to where he made the guy wear the suit for prolonged periods of time, and he would also put on an alien suit and feed him peanut butter through the alien mouthpiece when he said he was hungry.
Did not know that.
That's a way method. Sounds like some sounds like some DDL shit.
That's some Hergiger craziness.
I'm sorry, that was bullshit. John bet me money that I couldn't say it with a straight face.
Oh wow, nice.
John, get your money. Get your money, John.
Good job. Wow. Yeah, I was. Wow, I was really in there. Metroid. Would Metroid have existed without aliens?
No.
Nope.
No, not at all.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Probably,
Joe doesn't even want to answer. Let's get into the wad. I can tell by Joe's face he's ready to get this wad out.
It's that
James
time.
Cameron wrote, along with a couple of other people. He also directed. James Cameron, formidable director. Did Titanic.
But he had to fight to get this one, though. He had to fight.
He did. There is a lot of shit out there about how the British people did not care for him taking over for Ridley Scott. And the dispute, the 12-hour days.
And the dispute between Fox Studios and their reported earnings on the original Alien. Like,
right.
Fox technically paid for Aliens 2 to be produced, but only because there was a lawsuit. Like the settlement. Yeah. They had a huge, the people that were involved in Alien sued Fox because Fox used some creative accounting to report the original as a loss. And even though it only had a 1.8 to 2.8 million dollar budget, it netted 100 million in box office. And so they took him to court. And Fox ended up having to pay. In 1983 was when they settled the lawsuit. And reportedly, internet research, those were the funds that were used to help produce the sequel.
Interesting. I know it was like a last minute thing where they didn't think Cameron would be interested, and it was one of the things he wanted to do most. Really only got to do it because of the success of The Predator 2 years before. Or not Predator, Terminator.
I was gonna say I read it was Terminator, but okay.
Yeah, no, definitely an Ator. Definitely an Ator movie.
So yeah, he actually
Terminator.
He actually didn't get the approval. He was in talks to do it prior to Terminator getting released. Didn't get the sign off until the results from Terminator were in, and then he got the green light to make this movie.
He said, "You're good to go on whatever you want," and he was like, "This no, this no. Well, we might do Aliens." And he was like, "I would really love to do that." After that, did The Abyss. Feel like I haven't seen The Abyss in probably 25 years.
I love that movie.
I haven't seen that movie in so long, but I remember just watching the shit out of it, dude. Ed Harris in that.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
What I remember about Abyss, the last time I watched it, because I was old enough to kind of start seeing the dated parts of the movie.
Sigourney Weaver again.
Yep.
No, it wasn't.
She's in everything.
No, it's Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio or some shit. It's not Sigourney Weaver.
No, but what's his name, isn't it? Michael
Biehn.
Michael Biehn.
Michael Biehn.
But I felt like
Ed
Abyss.
Ed Harris, great Ed Harris movie.
Abyss focused too much on suspense, and that's where it didn't age well. I feel like it wanted to be a horror movie, but it wasn't. It stopped being scary after a certain point in time.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in so long.
It's been a long
nowadays
time.
it's just not scary anymore.
Yeah,
I actually recommended it one time on this show as a horror selection.
Agreed.
It was voted down.
No, suspense. Absolutely not. But he rides the Abyss to some bitch slap rapping and a cocaine tongue, and does Terminator 2. Probably the best Terminator. Definitely an awesome movie.
That shit wasn't even released until 91, fool.
Well, it's after The Abyss.
Oh, okay. You were all right.
Don't you try and challenge Ben about movies?
I know, right?
Yeah,
I beat him one time in Monty Python.
You could be mine.
I think I got the answers.
Whatever. T2, rockin' movie. Let's do it someday. True Lies. I mean. True Lies, dude. How many times have you seen that movie?
A bunch.
That's
Not recently,
movie,
but
right?
a bunch. A bunch.
That's the movie with
at least a dozen times.
That's the movie with the cooter, right?
What the fuck?
I'm so glad we have that.
Are you talking about Jamie Lee Curtis or what?
That's the movie with the cooter, right?
Never mind. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Okay, yeah, not the movie. I don't think that's the one you're thinking of.
Jamie Lee Curtis and
Bill
Arnold
Paxton in
Schwarzenegger,
that
great
movie.
Oh yeah, he was
Tom
fantastic in that movie. Bill Paxton.
Yeah, Bill Paxton as the fucking lying spy guy.
Oh my god,
does
so
Titanic. Good. Yep. Then does Titanic, becomes known as one of the most dickheadish directors in Hollywood after Titanic, when people are like, he abused us. And then Avatar. And he's got on IMDb, he's got Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5 through 2032 planned out.
Dude, I can't wait for Avatar 2.
What the fuck?
I can't wait for Avatar 2. I'm ready.
I mean,
why?
The first one was great.
I think
there's no denying that Avatar has a
Who
place.
knows? It's interstellar fucking war at that point. At the conclusion of Avatar, you're opening the floodgates for interstellar war.
But those people aren't ready for interstellar war. They're going to be nuked from orbit, and it's not going to be a problem.
No, but
You know-
he directed Aliens, and we've already proved that he isn't a fan of the nuked from orbit plot line. So that's not going to happen.
Eventually, it wins.
I mean, eventually, it's number 5.
Well,
Come on, man.
They
Why are
don't
you
really
calling
have to
in the
nuke
lead?
it from orbit.
You're burying the lead. You're burying the lead.
I am burying the lead. I'm also going to bury that in the extended cut. When Newt's parents find the wrecked ship, that ship is the ship they eventually recreate in Prometheus, which is a pretty cool thing for Ridley Scott not to like snub it and keep it out. It is the ring ship that's in Prometheus.
I forgot about that. Holy shit.
I saw it this time and I was like, holy shit, that's the fucking
that's dope.
That's like 26 years later.
Yeah, that's fucking cool shit.
I mean, I gotta ask. Maybe I'm gonna interrupt I'm gonna interrupt so much stuff you want to say.
You just did.
We're gonna go on tangents if I ask this question.
Just come on, ask the question. Come on, you already stopped everything.
Just do it.
Well, so
just do it, Russell.
Joe said before we started, Joe expressed opinions about his thoughts on the Prometheus franchise. I personally really love it, think it's great and expanded upon the Alien franchise, and think it was masterfully crafted. I would put those movies right next to the Alien movies.
What?
Ben, I want to hear what you have to say about the Prometheus movies.
God.
Well,
Good time for me to go get another beer.
I bought
beer,
Prometheus on Blu-ray before I ever saw it. And then I watched it and I watched it again and then I watched it again and then I watched it at least 2 more times after that. I think when Covenant came out, the only reason I didn't buy that on Blu-ray is because somewhere in between 2012 and 2017, I realized when I'm buying a DVD, I am literally buying trash. I can just use my remote to pull up this movie and I don't need to buy these things anymore. But especially as a pair, as like a 5-hour double feature of Prometheus and Covenant, I think it's some of the best sci-fi I've ever watched. It's phenomenal.
This is why we're friends. Ben,
where they take the aliens in the second movie is so terrifying. And then Michael Fassbender's character of the android that Guy Pearce loves as a son more than he loves his own actual daughter, flesh and blood. Dude, I can go on, but I'll stop. Those movies are phenomenal.
And I think, like, I've said it about bad movies where I'll come up with an excuse for why a bad movie, like Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace is a bad movie, but it did some good things for the other good movies in the franchise. In my opinion, the Prometheus and Covenant movies, they do good things for the Alien franchise. They expand upon things. They give you more insight into things you've always wanted to know and have answered, and they don't fuck it up. They do a good job. And the movie's good on its own. I think it's a great movie. And fuck you, Joe. You're just wrong.
Yeah, I want to go watch it. I want to go watch Prometheus right now.
Prometheus,
Idris Elba
as a standalone of the Aliens franchise itself is a disaster. As a prequel, it's not bad,
bro.
But
watch it again when they go down there and they find the eggs and shit. Bro, that movie is fucking terrifying. It's so good. And Charlize Theron's in it. So is Idris Elba. That movie's really good.
Alien species that seeds and created and co-parented the alien species is so nebulous. And if I felt like they were actually going to go back and revisit the fucking giant fucking aliens, the ones that seeded all of the galaxies.
Yeah, they're the ones who created this horrible thing.
Well, no, they didn't create it themselves. It was a bacteria that infected them, and it was a crossbreed production.
In Covenant, when he kicks the fucking alien that's infected, dude, it's so good.
I'm
so
just
good.
saying, if I felt like they were gonna pursue that, like it's the comic book series I want to see. It's the Marvel movie series that should be done. They're not gonna do anything with it past now. They're just not. And
it's aliens. It's not
so
Marvel.
for me, I felt it was stillborn. Like, I mean, I guess that's probably my saltiest comment on those two movies is great. You gave us this tremendous seed and growth opportunity, and you're going to do nothing with it.
I disagree.
Like, I would have preferred if it wouldn't happen, if it didn't happen.
I honestly think, Joe, I think you should just watch the movie again, because those two movies are very complex and complicated, and you have to watch them. Like, you got to watch like each one of them 5 times for them to even start to make sense. But
I saw both of them in the movie theaters. I'm a believer.
They're just incredibly smart, and
then you
gotta watch them. You watch them 3 times before you can really start to put together like why they're cool. It's on that level with.
We should do Shrek soon.
The movies that you like,
Nice aside.
those cerebral movies that I don't even always love, but the like Tenet, for example, there's just so many layers of complexity to where it's not even fun until the 3rd time you've watched it, which I didn't do for Tenet. Sorry, but Prometheus and Covenant,
Tenet is like an onion.
I hear all of the arguments that you guys are saying. It just doesn't resonate with me.
Whatever, you're stupid.
Well, we don't have to argue about this movie, which is Aliens.
Ridley Scott made the first one, and Ridley Scott made Prometheus, and you can tell.
What are some other Ridley Scott movies that are great? I remember seeing White Squall in the movie theater, and that movie really got to me.
White Squall was a great movie.
Really good. Gladiator, come on, classic. Okay. Cameron, I'm surprised he's never done a Marvel movie, but let's talk about the A.
I mean, has he done Fast and the Furious yet?
He did your favorite. No. He did The Martian. Ben loves The Martian.
No, he didn't. Cameron? No.
Ridley Scott.
Oh, I don't know. I'm talking about James Cameron. We're back on this movie. We've tangented out for 5 minutes. Sigourney Weaver received the first Best Actress nomination for a thriller role after this movie. Pretty awesome. She's great as Ripley. Sigourney Weaver, was she ever America's mom, or was she America's kind of trippy aunt?
Trippy aunt, for sure.
I think so.
I think she was
Ghostbusters 2.
Ghostbusters is the only thing where she's kind of mom.
Trippy aunt. I'd definitely go trippy aunt.
Okay, wait.
Working Girl. You remember Working Girl with her and Melanie Griffith?
Yeah.
She is so good in Galaxy Quest, and I love that they picked her after doing Aliens to put her in Galaxy Quest.
Yes. That I feel like that movie's a masterpiece. Honestly, it's done so well to be like this little episode of all these different archetypes brought together. Yeah, Galaxy Quest absolutely gets a pass for anything. Michael Biehn, I think we talked about Terminator. He was in a recent episode of The Mandalorian, so he's alive. Paul Reiser, what's your favorite Mad About You episode?
What did you say again?
What's your favorite Mad About You episode with Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt? Right, guys?
I didn't.
No, nobody knows that fucking show.
No,
of course not.
Yeah, no.
Paul Reiser, you slimy little shit. You tried to kill fucking Newt and Ripley. You're dead in this town. No, I don't know. He's had a long career. Good for him.
I can't even, like, he's one of those actors where I recognize his face, but why?
Well, he was just in Stranger Things.
That's why.
It's because he had a TV show
He's
that
just-
ran for
he's
5
just-
to
he's just
7 to 10 years.
Still around, man. He's still doing it. He's making that paycheck.
He's just got
Making
this
that
like
cheddar.
he's got a face that needs to be in movies, but not too much. So he gets
I don't
casted
know
a
what
lot.
it is.
He's in a
about
movie
his
like every
face.
year. He gets enough money
just
to
wanna
survive, but nobody really
Plant
wants
one of
him
these
to
in a
star
suck
in
hole.
anything.
Yeah, you're probably right. Again, Al Matthews, I really loved him as Apone since the first time I watched it to this time. I just look forward to getting to see his little role, all of his scenes.
You know,
I
he does a
enjoy.
great job. He really brings
Yeah.
the flavor, I think, to the Marines. Without him, the Marine
So-
contingent would have been a joke.
Right.
Did,
Yeah.
did you guys
Bunch
say
of just disjointed dickheads.
Yeah.
you're talking about? Oh, never mind.
The sergeant.
You're
You're
talking
not
about
talking
Al
about Bill-
Matthews.
You're not talking about Bill Paxton.
No, not yet. Bill Paxton comes in a minute, right after Jeanette Goldstein. So a little bit of crazy, you know, we can't do this in movies anymore. She is not Hispanic. They use darkener and yeah, not Hispanic. Hey,
Hey,
but came back in Terminator 2 as John Connor's foster mom,
Hey, who knew?
right? Right?
Totally see the resemblance now that you said it.
Hey
Yep,
Ben,
absolutely.
if this movie were to be remade today, who would play Private Vasquez?
I
Oh,
mean,
Michelle Rodriguez.
that's the easy choice, though.
Yeah,
It's
no,
totally Michelle Rodriguez, but I feel like she's had so many of them that they're starting to dry up. But I mean, they are starting to dry up because guess what? Now she's Michelle Rodriguez in a Dungeons and Dragons movie. Like she's played the archetype. She's
Dude,
Fast and
I
Furious.
love Michelle Rodriguez. I'm glad to see
But-
her getting out of that shoehorn she's been into from the Fast and the Furious franchise.
I say they go 180 and it's Sofia Vergara.
She was oh wow. They literally stopped my train of thought.
When I think of people with funny eyes, I always just think of her and Forrest Whitaker.
Damn. Hot take. Wow.
Not in a weird-
I've
not
never
in a
noticed her
bad way.
having weird eyes.
Oh, that's fucking
Not-
so
I mean,
funny,
like,
dude. Oh my god,
She's
I'm dying
a
right
beautiful woman, but her eyes are funny.
now.
All right, finally, Bill Paxton, who steals the show.
Game
RIP.
over, man. Game over.
Game over.
What are we gonna do
Put her
now,
in
man?
charge.
They blew the fucking ship up.
Wait, did you talk about Lance Henriksen?
No.
I mean, come on.
Way to
Okay,
arrest
go
the
ahead.
development,
You
Russ.
come on. I mean, come on. Lift a little. Jesus.
I mean, let me Google it.
Let me go.
I read a little bit of trivia that he was ready to quit. It's funny. It's like Anthony Hopkins in the Hannibal Lecter role. He was ready to quit, and he was like, "All right, if I do well with this movie, I'll stick around." And it's probably his most memorable role, except when he played
Yeah.
Raiden in Mortal
And
Kombat.
Which one was
Google says he pretty much sucks outside of this.
Huh.
Which one
He
was
was in
he?
He's doing
Tarzan.
some awesome stuff.
I don't have
It's
the cast
he
pulled
doesn't
up.
play Raiden in Mortal Kombat, by the way. I was hoping to get somebody to agree with me. That's
Oh, he
Christopher
does.
Lambert.
He looks like him. I thought you were just telling the truth.
No, you do that. I don't do that.
Pumpkinhead. He was
Right.
in Pumpkinhead.
Oh, Pumpkinhead.
Have you
Yeah,
guys
the
ever
smash
watched
hit.
Pumpkinhead? It's not bad.
No.
I've watched Smashing Pumpkinheads live with the
No.
Beastie Boys, Lollapalooza '93, baby.
That's a great
Wait,
show.
seriously, have either of you guys ever watched Pumpkinhead?
Yeah, no.
Oh, it's great. It's like if Children of the Corn and Alien became a movie.
So
it's-
like-
Wait,
it's
I've seen that
really-
episode of The Office.
A modern
Where Dwight-
reimagining of the Headless Horseman.
It's all Pumpkinhead is a creature that actually looks like one of the aliens, but it's in a modern day setting on planet Earth, and it's like a monster that comes around during like some ritual, always around Halloween, blah blah blah.
All right, Russ. This is the
Always
perfect.
around
This is the perfect
Halloween
segue.
is such a scamp.
Perfect segue to open the discussion about Aliens versus Predators.
Wait,
Wait.
I was going to talk about Trump's version of this movie, but Aliens versus Predator sounds good.
Before we do that, we need to talk about Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection.
Fuck.
Why?
Well, because I want to ask, do you guys? All right, we're probably all in agreement. Alien Resurrection sucks. Shouldn't have been made.
No,
right?
I mean, not so great.
It's a pretty awful movie.
The French guy made it, so what are you going to do?
Could have been the sequel.
But what do you think of Alien 3? I always get mixed kind of feedback when I ask this question.
Dude, Aliens 3 has basically been expunged from the canon. Like,
I always have mixed thoughts when I watch it.
Do you guys even remember what it's about? Wait, Joe?
Yeah, she finds herself on a prison planet, and Rock is there to tell her, keep yourself safe. And she's like, oh, shit, the alien mated with a dog this time, so it's a different kind of alien. Run.
But that's,
you know.
That's all part of the Alien comic book franchise, and like that was going on. That's actually called the Panther Alien. I collected aliens when I was a kid. John, you're welcome.
Hey, fun geek.
But it was a dog.
But they have all these different aliens. If they come out of, there's like a gorilla alien. There's like whatever. But that one existed in the franchise, and they put it in a movie. But that movie is
giraffe
a standalone
alien would be really
project.
cool.
It's obviously worse than the first or second movie, but I think it's a good movie, and I think it deserves to be in the.
What about a hippo
trilogy.
alien? Wouldn't a hippo alien be just absolutely fucking shit your pants scary? Dude, hippos are crazy violent and huge, like 3 fucking something tons, huge. And then it's an alien, got them big ass tusks, and then a second set of tusks comes out. Talk about the bare necessities. Am I right?
You're right.
Okay.
You're right. I've always maintained that Aliens 3 and Resurrection, if they had all followed Alien directly as a sequel, would have been viable individually. But as a chronological story, it just doesn't fucking hold up.
Well, Alien Resurrection is as talking about as a story that plays in with the other ones. Like, oh my god, what a horrible.
That's my point. Like you can bring,
you're right with 3. I think the second one does fine.
No, the second one. I think the second one is the sequel. But
the second one's great.
To have us have number 2, and then to foist number 3 and Resurrection upon us was a travesty.
No, that's not true.
At first, I laid there and let it happen, but then I realized no, fight back, and I stopped watching them.
Just let it happen.
Number 3 is a good movie.
No,
I would challenge you guys.
As a direct sequel, it would have been good. As a follow up to number 2, fuck no.
I think the only thing that's dumb about number 3 is like why Ripley's on a prison planet, which really isn't even that bad of a storyline. But overall, give it a shot.
It's just dude, she gets to drift in space so much. That poor character. Well, I feel like the opening to this when they bust open the
right, like I mean, easy trope to expose. Oh, you go to sleep. You wake up and this is happening. I mean,
yep. You're just in the sea of space.
I can't fault the writers for taking advantage of the material they were given, but the product that they brought just
really not that bad. You guys should watch both of you need to watch Alien, the first one again.
You guys are just a bunch of fucking alien lovers.
No, but Alien 3 is actually, it's not a bad movie. And
Alien 3 is great. Resurrection's great. Prometheus is great. Covenant's great.
No, I said Resurrection is horrid trash. That should be.
Starship Troopers is great. This had an 18.5 million budget. Ended up doing anywhere from 131 to 183 mil.
It did have boobs in it.
10 times. 10.
Easily,
10.
easily,
Hey, Ben,
easily a success.
this is 10.
Wait, I gotta take my shoes off to get to 10.
Why? What happened to your hands? Anyways,
Well, and honestly, I think the biggest strength that Aliens brings is the influence it had on the sci-fi presence in Hollywood.
it's true.
This movie permeated the nomenclature of the day. This has become
it exists
popular
till
social media.
Today. I mean,
That's
I
not a
see.
word.
Nuke
I see.
it from orbit. This movie did that. Nuke from orbit.
Yeah, nuke it from orbit.
That's not a word. Nomenclature.
Game over, man. Game over, man. Game over. 100%.
Tell me what it means, Joe.
Nomenclature is a word about words.
What does it mean?
Yep.
It references
It means the
words that are
popular
relevant
vernacular has been penetrated
There you go.
Penetrated? Really, Ben?
Yeah.
Come on.
to the popular vernacular. So now that it's part of nomenclature. Yep.
That's like literally
right.
that's literally the way Webster's dictionaries work. Is when something penetrates the common nomenclature, it gets published with a definition.
What does protagonist mean? All right. Anyways, Alien versus Predator.
Protagonist?
Alien versus Predator. It's all a bunch of schlock.
I know it's the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst of both franchises.
We can probably agree
Put
that
into a spaghetti
Hey,
bubble.
but you know what is really good about
Western.
them? The comics are actually really great.
And the subplot behind, like, they try and do it in the movies, but the comics is where it originated. Like, predators are trying to fight the ultimate thing, and they find these aliens, and like they're pretty good at
Which
killing
are,
stuff.
I mean, between the acid blood, if you really imagine, like, if they would have stuck to the parasites being very much, acid blood, think of the damage they do as that little thing eats its way through the floor.
Well, so
in the screenplay, they talk about having to race to get it out into space so it doesn't burn a hole through the hull of the ship.
right,
Like, that's a real fucking fear right there.
yeah, hell yeah, because they exist no problem in the vacuum of space. They got that exoskeleton. Right. But let's talk about timelines. Like, so when was Predator dropped? We've
84.
done Predator. I don't remember. All right, so Predator was 1984. Alien was 79, 78, 79.
9.
Aliens comes out 86.
86.
I think it's actually really great that our culture coincided these two creations into what admittedly was a horrible movie, but was a great comic book exploration of the idea.
I will give one piece of credit to Alien vs. Predator, the first movie. I don't remember or even know if I watched any of the other ones. There is a fight scene, the first fight scene between the Predator and the alien, and the Predator like actually grabs the alien by its tail and swings it around in this room and is breaking stone walls with this alien. And it's so fucking cool. It's like one of those things you've always wanted to see, of just a predator and an alien fighting, and it's pretty cool. The whole movie is absolute trash, but the fight scene
absolutely it's the worst trash. Like, if they'd have just completely evicted any human presence out of the movie, they might have had a chance,
right?
But they decided to do some kind of weird Tremors fucking crossover hybrid, and it was just not good.
They got scared with Battlefield Earth, and they were like, we can't have the aliens talk to aliens and the predators talk to predators.
Yeah, Battlefield
Too
Earth.
weird.
Woo!
We've got to throw humans in, or else humans don't give a shit. And
that's gonna be
maybe they were right. Maybe they just made a horrible fucking movie.
I'm picking Battlefield Earth next.
No, I never want to watch that movie.
The book is fantastic.
Yeah, didn't L. Ron Hubbard write that?
Dude, the book is fucking fantastic. The book is a masterpiece.
I want to talk about it with real movie reviewers. So
never read Dianetics, but love L. Ron Hubbard.
I bet
his sci-fi work is fantastic. Dude, he's written some of the best spaghetti western space fucking drama that you've ever seen. That shit is so good. It's so good.
So good. So good.
So
Just
good.
like this movie, which has been Aliens. I think we've got an average rating of an A+ on this one. All three of us agree. 100% it's an A+. There's nothing that takes away from it.
Joe, what was your rating, your actual rating? Because you had 2. What was your actual?
You had 3.
A B
You had 3. Have you
minus.
forgotten already?
Yeah, it was
So
a B minus,
B-minus.
an A, and an A+.
B- and A minus is.
You got to count me 3 times. So it's B minus, an A, and an A+.
I'm not counting you 3 times. That's bullshit.
And whatever, dude, then you're cheating our fucking viewers with your average fucking
Yeah.
rating bullshit.
So then
He's twice rated, thrice.
You're in the
nice,
middle of all that.
It's
baby.
So
contextual
Joe,
rating.
You're also an A minus then. So it's an A minus with an A+. Ben, it's an A. There you go.
Still an A.
A+, 100%. Definitely recommend. Don't miss watching this movie. If you don't like this movie, then fuck you.
And we finished in the A.